Is it day 19? I think it's day 19. Ladies and gents, it is day 19. Welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and being here. We've got a couple of quick updates and then we're gonna get into what today's video is about. A couple things. First, the crank arm showed up for the unicycle, so expect to see that video very shortly. I also got this package right here in the mail, which is not damaged. I opened it up and looked at it, even though the box came in all busted. We'll talk about that at a later date. And check this out. I came downstairs earlier and I had this sitting on my table here. We have a Lego Camaro race car to build. So I'm gonna knock that out later today and have a little fun and pretend to be a kid. But for today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to my best friend, Christian. We're gonna bring him online through Zoom, and we're just gonna have a couple of conversations about different topics and bring you guys along for the ride. So let me see if I can get this hooked up and talk about what we're gonna talk about with him today. All right, so now we're recording. I'm guessing it's gonna record in this fashion, so I'll know what we got going here. But all right, I think I got this set up.
I'm here. All right.
It only took me about an hour to set up this Zoom call.
So how you doing, David?
Living the dream, man. Living in the basement.
Looks like you're having a great time over there.
It's okay, it's pretty easy. Just a matter of keeping structured and keeping myself entertained for the most part. But I come down here for like 6 hours, 7 hours a day. Just messing around trying to make YouTube videos.
Our lives are greatly different, I tell you. So I'm working from home nonstop. My wife is going to work every day still, Heather. She works in a hospital. And I'm working from home, like I said, but I have to also keep a 4.5-year-old occupied.
Right.
And any of the guys out there that have kids or girls, you have kids and they're home with you, I feel your pain.
You see on social media all the time, like people with kids just need like an absolute break because it's nonstop energy coming from the child and just, it never ends.
And like you always have to keep an eye on him. Like I'm here with you talking and he's on the camera right now.
Right.
He's on his iPad. So I'm keeping an eye on him. I'm talking to you. It's just nonstop. And
how's Heather doing?
Yeah, she's definitely on the forefront. She's the chief X-ray tech at a hospital real close to New York City. It's on the Jersey side. If anyone's familiar with Jersey, it's right near the Holland Tunnel. She's working on COVID patients, coronavirus patients every day. I think yesterday, she took 50-something X-rays of coronavirus patients, looking at the lungs and to see, how they're doing, how they're progressing, and things like that. So she's in there all geared up, head to toe, every single day, near this virus. Dave knows me. I have horrible anxiety. So every day she work, I'm spraying her in the driveway. The neighbors are looking at us. It's no joke, right? And we might be smiling and laughing because you know how I am with this, but I'm telling you, I'm over the top with cleaning and all this stuff, trying to keep this virus out of my house.
But she's the complete opposite, right? I mean, for the most part, she's pretty calm about it, just doing the job and taking the precautions.
Dude, she came home from work the other day, had like a bag of food that someone gave her at work. I'm like, that's not coming in this sanctuary. That stays outside. Brought home a bag of bagels because this like one of the bakeries donated bagels to the hospital and they had it left over. So she brought me home a bagel. I felt bad, but literally I threw the thing across the street. I don't want this in my fear in my mind that someone may have touched it, coughed on it, and now it's going to be in my house in my hands. And
right. Well, how about the guy? How about your neighbor telling you that the Amazon guy sneezed in his hand and then took the package out of the car?
God, so I hear my doorbell ring. I look and I see it's a Amazon guy, and then my phone is ringing. Someone's calling me. It's my neighbor. I pick up. He's like, "Dude, do not touch that package." I'm like, "I usually don't. It's usually on that porch for a few hours before I let it in the house." But he goes, "I just watched the Amazon driver get out of his car, sneeze in his hand, and then pick up your package and bring it over to your porch."
Right.
So you better believe it. I was out there, Lysol the whole package. I Lysoled it so much the label was just blank.
Hopefully this will all pass soon and things will get back to normal.
And here I'm watching your videos. And one of your videos, you're in your apartment Amazon hub.
Yeah.
My skin was crawling off my body watching you touch doorknobs and stuff. And I'm by no means am I germaphobe. But ever since this is happening and all this is going down with people getting this virus, and it hits close to home since my wife is telling me all these horror stories.
I went to the Amazon hub again today, twice. I had to go over there twice. And I didn't realize until today that they actually give you a barcode that you're supposed to scan and not press the buttons. I didn't know that.
You're going to
I scanned and I got home and I washed my hands. What else could you do? Avoid contact with your hands to your face. Stay 1 to 3 meters away from anybody who's sick or ill. and just keep washing your hands, man. So I practice that, and I think that's good enough.
Hey, I wish you the
I'm
best.
home. I mean, dude, I'm in the basement for 19 days now. That, don't give me that look because I go out and get coffees.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, kids driving around getting coffees, you're getting McDonald's French fries. Mr. Fitness getting McDonald's French fries in a quarantine.
I had a craving. So anyway, all right. So that's pretty much that. All right. Well, we were going to touch on a road trip. You want to talk about the road trip? When did we go on this trip? We went on this trip in 2010. That's when I had the Corvette, and we went on the Corvette road trip. We basically drove from Jersey to Kentucky, went to the Corvette Museum. What else did we just did the Corvette Museum Factory tour. We were there a couple of days. And on the way back, we hit Maker's Mark. So it was only like a 3 or 4 day trip.
It was like maybe 3 days.
Yeah, that I remember.
What's crazy is on that trip, I also got drug tested for my current job. Yeah, so it was like 3 days, I think.
I got some photos here I'm going to throw up on the screen. You can't see them from there, but the first one is basically a screenshot of the navigation of us driving down. So it looks like we left at like 2:36 in the morning. This was an 830-mile journey, which they estimated would take about 10 hours and 50 minutes. The next photo we go into is a mirror shot of like a sunrise.
Oh man, that's sunrise.
It looks like a photo you would have taken from the passenger seat.
I think that was going through Virginia. Sun was coming up. I remember. Yeah.
There's a good story that goes along with that. I don't know. Do you want to talk about that one?
Well, yeah, like I said, I'm very honest, and
I drive the whole first leg. So now we're in wherever we are, Virginia or whatever. Sun's starting to come up. It's a super cold morning. It was like 20-something, 30-something degrees, if I remember correctly. Because I remember being warm in the car, and like we got out, it was just freezing. But Christian had to use the bathroom, so I think, all right, no big deal.
I remember telling you, I was like, hey, when you get a moment, if the situation arises, can we please pull over to our rest area? I may have to use the bathroom. So of course, if I'm gonna go, you're gonna go too. We're gonna make it a dual pit stop. We're both gonna go. So what happens?
So what happens is I find the rest area, I get off an exit, and as I get off the exit, we pull over, we open up the doors, we get out. It's freezing cold. We take a nice stroll over to the bathroom. Christian goes in, he heads in for a stall. I head over to a urinal. Before I can even hear the stall door close, I mean, the kid let loose. He really let loose.
There was no time.
There was no time.
You know what happens? Sometimes you get up out of the car, you start walking, things start loosening up a little bit.
I'm sure everyone's been down that road and has some sort of a bathroom story, but we'll move on from that. So we continue to drive down the road.
Hold on one second. It is snowing out right now.
Is it really? I can't see. I'm in the basement.
Amazing. All right. Anyway.
So fast forward. So we get back in the car. We continue down. The sun comes up. We decide to stop for breakfast somewhere. After that, now Christian, at that point, you only drove stick shift cars, maybe for, if I can remember correctly, just like people who had them. You never owned one. And this was a stick shift, but I wanted you to drive as well, and you wanted to drive. So, we drove the whole night. We got into the morning. We had breakfast, and at that point, you would take over. We figured you'd take over and you can drive. I got a picture of you driving. And you're wearing a short sleeve shirt, which means you must have been sweating because it was like 30 degrees out.
So this goes back, we just said this earlier. I have extreme anxiety. I'm always sweating. It just never ends. It never ends. I remember, right? Like you said, I drove stick shift for fun. I stalled out. I was the master at stalling out stick shifts. I'm not a great driver, but we're friends. You trusted me with your car. And I remember I got in that car and I was maybe driving for like 5 minutes. The sun comes up. It's beautiful out. Boom. We're hitting construction. Cops coming up behind me, lights and sirens. I'm trying to pull over, downshift, not doing things.
The radar detector was going off like crazy. I remember it was yesterday. I was laughing like crazy. I actually snapped a picture of the road, which I'm going to put on the screen here, of all the barrels, the reduced speed signs, the lane closures. It was the funniest thing in the world because we literally went from probably what was 7 hours of driving with no issue to somebody getting in a car that's not the best as far as stick shift driving and then having every possible, what would the right word be? Every possible what?
All I'm saying is for the first 6 hours, smooth seas. I start driving, there's a storm opened up. I'm over there. I'm trying to drive. There's cops and barrels. It was, but you trusted me. I remember pulling off. I didn't drive that long. I think around that time, it was rush hour in the morning and traffic was piling up. I remember, turning to like a parking lot and just, giving up. I admitted defeat.
We ended up getting there. It was a rainy day as well when we arrived. Although we didn't go to the museum the first day we got there. So it may have been the next day that we took these photos. We drove an average of 65.2 miles per hour. We were physically driving for 11 hours and 51 minutes, which was an hour longer than what the navigation had originally anticipated. And we
That
hit
was not,
113 miles an hour as a max speed. So I don't understand how we didn't make good time.
well, I tell you what, it was the pit stop in Virginia.
Well, that's separate because there's 54 minutes of stopped time on that nav as well.
Oh my God, what happened?
You know, we got there, and here's some pictures of the car in the rain. You know, one thing I'm looking at, dude, which I know you can't see the photo from here, but it's a photo looking at the front of the car with the museum in the background. And
Huh?
the car, to me, looks so plain compared to the cars of today. It's amazing how the car looks so outdated, you know, as a car they built until 2013, you know, before they changed to a C7, and now you put a C8 next to it. It's such a difference.
I love Corvettes like you do, but you look at the silver one that you owned, and you know we had a lot of fun in that car too. And you never got looks. No one. You know, I remember kids like, you know,
Yeah.
giving you a thumbs up in the orange one, the silver one. It was just a plain Jane car.
Yeah, exactly. The color made all the difference. The next day we woke up, went over to the museum. So I got a couple photos here I'm throwing up, which are just nice sunny day photos over at the museum. And then we did the Corvette Factory tour. And I don't know if the Corvette Factory tour still works this way, but back before we actually left, I called them because online there was two tours. One was like $7 and one was like $200. So I wanted to know what the difference was. For $7, you basically walk behind somebody that has like a yellow flag and you just basically look around. But for $200 or $250, whatever it was, you literally met at 7 o'clock in the morning. They took you over to the factory. You had a tour guide. It was just the three of us. The guy told us so much stuff. I mean, if I remember correctly, we were in that factory at least 2 hours.
Oh, it was amazing.
2.5 hours. It was awesome.
I'm a car guy like you, but I never loved Corvettes until going through that factory tour and just seeing how many people and how many hands touched this vehicle. And I thought that it was a lot of handmade parts, not handmade parts, but not a lot of machines putting parts on. It was a lot of hands, you know, building this car.
I remember when they were putting like bolts into the side. I forget what part of the car was, but you had somebody like standing so they could just stand straight and put the bolts in or whatever they were doing. And the next person was like in a pit, so they didn't have to bend down. They can stand straight and put their bolts.
I think they were putting the doors on or something, maybe.
Something like that. And then I started the car. Remember in the end, they gave me a birth certificate, so I probably still had that somewhere.
You know, in the museum too. There's also, remember the museum had a sinkhole since we've been there.
Yeah, that wasn't there. We were there prior or before that that sinkhole incident. Remember the Nürburgring decal that was on the back of that car?
Yeah, because I had it on my BMW.
I went online, I ordered the decal, I put it on the back of my car. You know, it was awesome. Yeah. So what else do you remember with that trip? That was pretty much that. We ended up doing all that. It was a lot of fun. We drove home.
You know what else I remember? I remember breakfast in the morning at the hotel. They had like a waffle station, make your own waffle station.
That's always a good time. That was pretty much it. It was only like, oh, we went to the club at night.
That's what hey.
We went to go to the club at night, so we basically drive over into like the center of Bowling Green. It was like a square, and as you're driving around, there was a bar. And we look in, and there was, what, 3 people in that bar, I think?
There's more people at the Outback than at the club. Yeah, I think, and then we, oh, you know, yeah, the next day we came back home. I remember driving home, and would we see signs for like a Bourbon Belt and distilleries?
Well, that's when we went to Maker's Mark. You know, it's funny. I actually looked because I have the photo that we showed before of how long it took to get there was 800. Where is it? 832 miles, and on the way home was 872. So we actually went 40 miles out of the way. And I remember that because I remember seeing the signs, and like it was a last-minute judgment call because we're driving straight through from Kentucky back to Jersey. So we're like a 12-hour drive, you know, 11 to 12-hour drive. And we decided, you know what? It's on the way. Let's go check it out. And remember we were driving forever, like trying to go these little country roads and stuff. And it was like, how far away is this place?
I remember like cresting a hill or something. You're seeing like all these black like buildings and barns. And once I remember seeing that, I was like, oh man, we made the right idea to stop here because the place was huge. It was like a compound. Oh,
it was awesome. And then we went on the tour. I actually have a picture of our tour guide. Remember, she was great. And we were like teacher's pets. You were answering all the questions because you're into brewing beer. So you knew what she was asking. It was a great time.
It was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I know you weren't really into like, you know, brewing or doing anything like that, but
I got a bottle right here, man.
Mine's downstairs.
Dude, we'll get you a bottle.
Let me go get it. We're going to re-edit this.
We'll do a shot.
We'll do a shot.
They had a thing when you buy the bottle at Maker's Mark that if you buy one there, you become an ambassador and you can have a custom label made. So I had one made. It says Team Vetsky, David Christian, New Jersey to Kentucky, 2010. Vetsky was my handle on the Corvette forum because I had a vet and I'm Polish. So like Vetsky. And that's how I put that together. But we got these. I still got a half a bottle here. They end up making you like an ambassador where after that, which I never knew, you would literally get a Christmas present like every year. And it was all stuff for the bottle. You'd get like a scarf, you get like a nightcap hat, all different things. I have them somewhere. You got yours. You got mistletoe. See, I don't think I ever got the mistletoe.
we moved, and my parents, who they used to live in Bayonne, they would every holiday they'd be like, "Oh, you got your package from Maker's Mark."
Right.
Every year.
I was just saying that while you were going to get it, that you get like a scarf. They had like a nightcap hat. They had the
Oh,
sweater.
his whole outfit. I mean, he's legit.
Did you got a shot glass, bro?
No, we gonna drink?
Yeah, I got mine right here. If you're out there watching this right now, go grab your favorite bottle, grab a shot glass. We can all do a shot together. I don't know how I got this one, but since we were in Kentucky, I'm going with the Louisville Slugger. And I'm going to do this in honor of the Chevy dude who's from Louisville or works in Louisville, because he's one of the guys that inspired me to start my YouTube. So let me get my pour going here. You poured up?
Yeah, I'm poured up.
Is everybody poured up out there in the community of YouTube who's watching this? Cheers.
What's up? Nice to have you. Ooh.
It's actually pretty good. I did one earlier, so I'm already used to it.
That brings back memories. Oh my God.
So that was the whole Maker's Mark thing. And then we hit the road the whole way after the tour, because now we spent time there. I started freaking out because it was snowing out. So now I'm in the bed. It's dark out and it's snowing. And it wasn't a lot of snow, but it was just enough to like coat the road. And you're in a Corvette, tires aren't made for it. But we did it, man. We got home. And as I'm looking at the last thing here, it was 872 miles. It took us 12 hours and 44 minutes. So basically almost a full hour longer than the way down.
Wait, that doesn't include the stop time at the.
No, we stopped for an hour and 52 minutes.
Okay.
So you figure between eating quick and gas stops and Maker's Mark Distillery, it got to a point where we stopped for almost 2 hours. We'll have to do a trip like that again one day. Actually, somebody commented recently about what other museums and stuff I want to go to, car museums, and I really don't know of any.
Really? So, there's one in LA that I went to. I went out to LA for work, and it's like the best car museum ever.
Really?
What's the name of it?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Dude, do you think anybody saw the sunglasses yet? Because I don't have them here at my place. Well, technically I have them at my place, but they're actually at Christian's place. The Peterson.
Peterson. This place is amazing. They had all like Ferraris, high-end cars. I mean, ridiculous high-end cars that like you'll never like. When I was there, they had a Bugatti exhibit. And then like every Bugatti, all old Bugattis, like from like the 30s probably. Amazing stuff. The company that was hosting us gave us all free tickets, and we went to like the Peterson Vault where like no one's allowed to go. And there's like super duper cars. Super duper.
I like the factory tour. Did we ever talk about Jeep? Like if Jeep did a factory tour, that would be awesome. But I don't know, they don't do it. So to go to see where the Wranglers are built would be a lot of fun.
There's nothing more that I love than tours and swag. If you notice, I got a lot of swag. If you put a logo on something, I'll buy it. If you ever come out with hats or something, Dave, I'm going to buy them. I love swag.
Remember Maker's Mark? Like all the girls that were working there were all good looking, and they must have all been drinking because they all had like the best personalities in the world. And this kid's over here buying shot glasses, he's buying regular glasses, he's buying hats, shirts. It was great.
I had a shopping cart, I think. They didn't even have shopping. I was walking through just buying everything.
Oh, no. That's pretty much it, man. What do you think? Final thoughts?
We have to do another trip again once all this whole pandemic ends. Other thoughts? People, if you're out there, stay home. Make my wife's job a little easier and just stay home and be safe. That's it.
Cool, man. Listen, great talking to you. Guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching. It's quarantine day 19, and I'll see you tomorrow, day 20.
And you better get your quarantine logos correct. Get the dates correct. Put some time into this. People calling you out every day in the comments. I'm looking. Everyone's calling you out.
That's good. I want them to call me out. That's good. You got to keep me on my toes. What's that? What's that? Later, bud.
Later, bro.